7 Speed limit guidelines for driving in school zones. What is the normal U.S. speed limit in school zones? Unless specifically marked, the normal school zone speed restriction in the majority of U.S. states is between 15 miles per hour and 25 miles per hour, 25 and 40 kilometers per hour. School zone signs frequently include the warning, "While children are present near schools, neighborhoods, parks, and playgrounds, drive slowly and cautiously at all times since kids might unexpectedly dart into the road." Make sure to follow any instructions given by crossing guards or school safety patrols. To guarantee the safety of children in and around schools, school zones have been established. Drivers must maintain safety and attentiveness on the streets around schools when classes are in session. Every child should be able to ride their bikes or walk to school without worrying about being hit by oncoming traffic. We must use caution when driving through school zones. Every school zone speed limit must be observed, and we must be aware of the applicable traffic regulations in these areas. They must always be followed by us as well. Here are some guidelines for keeping children safe in school zones as well as some universal rules, in case your morning commute takes you by a school. Driving in and across school zones. 1. Be aware of school zones. Many motorists speed through school zones without realizing they are carelessly operating their sizable vehicles close to young children, whether they are a touch too drowsy or are preoccupied with a cell phone discussion. The most important thing to keep in mind when driving through school zones is to be alert for them. Nearly all school zones have a lot of warning signs, flashing lights, and/or speed bumps before them. To make sure that drivers are aware of the approaching school zone before it is too late, all of these measures have been put in place. At all times, keep your focus on the road and the work at hand. 2. Slow down when driving through school zones. A decreased speed restriction sign was frequently present in the warning signs that are placed before school zones. This speed limit may be as low as 10 or 15 miles per hour, depending on the sort of road the school zone is on. Yet, the speed restriction will be considerably lower in school zones than it is elsewhere on the same route. An approaching school zone must be anticipated so that you have enough time to safely slow down without slamming on the brakes at the last second. 3. Be prepared for more traffic in and near school zones. Especially between the hours of 2 and 4 in the afternoon and between 7 and 9 in the morning, expect more traffic in and around school zones. These are the hours when children are picked up after school or dropped off by parents and buses. It's possible for parents picking up their kids to leave their cars parked on the street for up to an hour prior to the end of the school day. To keep parents and children safe during these times, drive cautiously and gently. 4. Recognize that school zones have an abnormally high number of pedestrian crosswalks. To make it easier for parents and children to stroll to and from surrounding areas, some of these paths might be placed in school zones. These crosswalks will be marked with warning signs and will appear as a sequence of parallel white pavement markings extending from one side of the road to the other. Always stop for people crossing the street, even if they are not doing so at a designated crosswalk. 5. Keep an eye out for buses. Buses frequently struggle to navigate the influx of traffic in school zones in the mornings and afternoons. Always give way to buses when driving. When their stop sign is activated, be sure to stop. Watch out for kids waiting on the curb for their bus when driving in the mornings, whether you're in a school zone or not. See pupils being dropped off at their homes in the middle of the day. 6. Comply with traffic cops, police officers, and crossing guards. Crossing guards, who have the legal right to stop traffic in order to enable students and parents cross the road safely, frequently supervise crosswalks on major roads and school zones. In school zones, you might also run into traffic officers. When it comes to directing the morning and afternoon rush hour traffic, these men and women take precedence over any traffic signs or signals that would typically govern the area. In order to take extra precautions, police officers frequently park their automobiles near the boundaries of school zones. If you see a police car with flashing lights in a school zone, you may be sure that there are students around. 7. Strict penalties. Be mindful that the majority of states and municipalities apply harsher penalties for infractions of traffic regulations in school zones. Speeding tickets are frequently doubled or tripled in and around school zones. Please be aware that these increases are intended to deter drivers from endangering the lives of young children by speeding through school zones or failing to pay attention to the road. The life of a child is more priceless than everything else. While students are traveling to and from school, it's important to go slowly, pay attention, and safeguard their safety.